4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
The biggest names in music.
Oh, wow.
Big names, big songs, big guests, big prizes.
Well, it's a big show. Okay.
The Big Show.
Put your hands together for the one and only
Glenn, Angel, FD, and Sean.
That's what I'm talking about.
1FM 91.3. Good times, greatest hits.
1, 2, 3.
Good morning and welcome to The Big Show and TheBigShow.tv. It's a Tuesday morning, which means we have with us from the therapy room, the one, the only, Dr. Geraldine Tan.
Good morning.
So drama.
Good morning, Dr. Gerry. How are you?
Morning, Angel. Very, very interesting week so far.
Oh, yeah?
Interesting in a good
Tell
way
us.
or a bad way?
It's almost back to the whole circuit breaker feel where I've thrown everyone at home now. So I'm home alone in my office for now. I've only got one other person coming in.
Okay.
wow.
This is actually good for you, because you work so hard. So, at least you get to chill out for a little bit, a couple of weeks, and then it's back to your busy schedule again.
I know it's busy, my dear.
But it's
in the
online
office.
busy.
Everybody is at
home, right.
online.
Online.
Oh,
So
yeah.
all
So she's
the
still-
other colleagues.
Do you
I
find
see.
it? Do you find it harder to? So do you do your therapy online or do you do it in person?
Both at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for online therapy, do you find it more difficult to get your message across?
It depends on. So some would definitely prefer online. I don't prefer online.
Okay.
But for some clients, it really works. They find it more conducive. They find that they don't have the hassle of rushing to and fro. So that helps them. But most of them find it a bit difficult because, we talk about like in the space, in the therapist space, but when you're at home, you're in the home space.
Yeah.
So some people find it very dangerous or they find that it's not safe enough. It's not private enough.
Not a safe space. Yeah.
I completely understand. I'd rather be on your sofa than talk to you.
Stop it, Glenn.
from home.
But it's true because you go into a therapist room and your mindset is I'm in this room. I'm here to open up. I'm here to get help. It's a very different beginning to anything.
It's almost like walking into that room is like a different portal where you're
Yes.
allowed to say things and you're allowed to
Yes.
show your feelings and emotions, right?
Yes.
Like if I walk into Jerry's room, it'll be like walking into sunshine.
Into the abyss.
Okay, no. Wow,
She
into
said
the
abyss, I said
Into the
sunshine.
abyss? Wow.
Jerry's going to give you a hard time.
Okay.
Oh no.
Jerry, so today we're
Yes.
going to talk about our children and something that's really important, I feel. I mean, having had a multitude of them, developing resilience in your children.
So that they don't become weak adults. Is that it?
No. Actually, there's always a misconception. I think resilience has evolved to become quite a bad word. And I thought I wanted to kind of, break that myth a little bit. So taking the whole opportunity of this pandemic, and we say that we need to build resilience, we need to push through, but our children also need to deal with the whole situation, right? So I thought it would be fun to kind of talk about it, and that what are we actually looking out for, right? So resilience is, we think it's bad, but it's like stress. Stress is not bad, but it's been used so widely, and it's used in a way that connotes negativity. But stress itself is good. You and I need stress so that we can do our work well.
Okay.
Yeah. But okay, so then when we do anything, we have stress. When we face any adversity, we face any situation, we have stress. And typically, it will balance itself out. However, there are times where we're not permitted to balance ourselves out. What do I mean? Prolonged stress prolonged stress. So if a child is in that mindset that one test after another test, and then I have an exam. So 1 week after another month, that child has prolonged stress. So the body never has an opportunity to rebalance itself. Or currently now we are in the pandemic. So one day after another week, after another month, we are just subjected to this whole climate of stress. So how then do we help ourselves through? I thought that was very interesting to help us through this period of time.
Okay. But with children, it is a little different. I think we should deal with that. How we deal with this with kids.
Yeah. I want to ask you, if you know a kid is stressed out, the moment the kid, comes to see you. You know? Yeah. How do you know how stressed out the kid is? Okay, we'll continue to talk to Gerry about this on thebigshow.tv. Meantime, here's Dr. Alban on The Big Show. It's My Life on 1FM 91.3. Good times, greatest hits.
Okay.
So how do you know a kid is stressed out? If a kid is stressed out?
So we always like to greet them from the whole reception area, and you can literally see this person just collapsed, just very it's hard to describe. You feel that they are really, really small,
Like the life is sucked out of them?
a bit, or they can be quite prickly. So they're your angry teens or your angry children. Who send out the vibe, don't touch me.
So what you're saying is there are different kinds of signs to show that a child is stressful, or even an adult. They're the ones that withdraw, they're the ones that are really quiet, and then they're the ones that act out as well, right?
Yes. Although there are those that you cannot see at all, so the undercurrents are there, and you look at them and they're a picture of calm, but when they're in your room, they suddenly just break down.
Oh, right.
Gerry, I want to give you an idea. I don't know whether it's a good idea or not, and I'm not joking about this, right? Because yesterday when we were talking to Natalie, right? Remember we were talking about heart rate monitoring.
Yes.
Right? Do you and others in your field analyze your patients through heart rate monitoring? Because you can then tell how stressed out the person is. Because if your heart rate is low and consistent, the person is, naturally calm, right? If the person has, consistent, a consistently high heart rate, it means that the person is
Stressed.
a little stressed, and perhaps maybe blood pressure levels are also high because the higher your heartbeat, consistently, the higher your blood pressure as well.
Yeah.
So, in your field, would something like this be relevant?
There are machines out there that actually measure stress. So what you just said, right? Your heart rate, the BP, the different levels, the different cortisol levels and things like that. Yeah.
Right.
So there are machines out there, but they cost a lot of money.
Right.
Yes,
And I was just thinking for the parents, because some parents, they're guessing, right? How's my kid feeling? Is my kid really stressed out, or is he just, pretending to be all right?
I think parents are. It's a little different, the story. Angel, why don't you go first?
But speaking of parents, I mean, do parents play a very big role in stressing the kids out, especially these days? With so much need to excel, with so much need to be number one and to always be better than the rest, your cousins, your friends, and your schoolmates and stuff like that. Are parents also play a big role in this, in causing the
So
stress?
you're asking whether they are the constant factor
Yes.
in causing them that adversity. So the adversity
you said
is
that, yeah, not me.
I think parents have a very delicate role to play. We need to encourage them to do well in life, but sometimes in doing so, we don't realize the impact we have on them. So that's how I would put it, because more and more I realize, not more and more, but there's always two sides to the coin. The kid have a story, the parents have a story.
So how can parents lay off then? Because it is something that is constantly on parents' minds. If it's not coming from the children or the teachers, it's coming from their own peers. How well did your kid do in school? How what kind of score did they get?
I think
and stuff like
it's a
that?
performance issue.
It is.
Because for most parents, right, they want to be proud of their kids. If their kids are underperforming, this irritates them.
And it reflects, they feel like it reflects on them being bad parents. I didn't do well enough, I didn't raise my child properly, my child is not smart enough and stuff like that.
Gerry, correct me if I'm wrong. Glenn brought up the point of underperforming. Every
Yes.
child is different.
Yeah.
I
What
know,
do you
that's a-
mean
No,
underperforming?
And that's the thing, you
Parents
see.
don't think that way.
Parents have very high expectations of their child, of their children.
And they
you know what I
compare
mean?
too much.
Exactly.
Then
So
you-
parents are different, right? Like I know what kind of a parent I will probably be. I will be the kind of parent that will be really disappointed if my kid is underperforming. And I thank God I don't have kids.
For that reason.
As a result,
yeah.
I'll be stressing myself out and I'll be stressing the kid out
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But I admit that I will
Will be
probably
the-
be a parent like that. You see, you know what I mean? You may not be.
I'm not. I'm not that kind of parent at
but
all.
that's because you're a different person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to put it out there for all the parents, okay? Resilience is independent of intelligence.
Yes.
And resilience does not have a grade put onto it. I'm going to put it out there.
Yes, I agree.
Resilience does not have a what?
a grade.
Put on it.
Oh.
Yeah.
It doesn't. And resilience is more than just performance. Resilience is the ability to handle whatever life throws at you.
But which is why I'm saying, right, I understand like where Gerry is coming from
Yeah.
and where you are coming from, but there are different parents.
Yeah.
There are parents who are extremely ambitious by nature. And so they expect that of everyone in their family as well, you see.
Yeah,
It's not a good thing, but it's
it is who they are.
Yeah.
I hate to keep going back to parents, but it starts with the parents because everything that the child is a reflection of upbringing.
Yeah.
Right? So if the child is stressed, if the child is not as resilient, if the child is whatever, without using too many words, it is because the parents have steered them that way as well, right?
Okay, so the parents play a very huge part. So today we're going to give them a lot of homework.
Oh, good.
Because there are 7 areas that they need to look at besides the academic grades. Okay,
great.
This one you mentioned on
Yeah.
air, Gerry.
Great,
You mentioned
great.
the 7, okay?
Great.
So we'll
Okay.
save this for when we go
Yeah.
on air because I think
Okay.
it's
I
important.
think she can mention the 7 and then you can detail the 7 when we go off air.
Yeah.
So that, right?
You got
So you
30
mentioned the
seconds.
7 first, and then we can
can go into
explain a
detail.
little bit more when we go off air. But never mind, like you try to explain as much
Yeah.
as
As
possible.
much as
We'll see
possible,
whether.
yeah.
Are we on air or off
No,
air
we're going to
now?
go on air.
We're
Now
gonna
we're
go
on
on air.
Facebook.
Yeah. So we'll have about about 4 minutes or so, when we go on air.
We get as much time as possible.
Yeah, so we'll get as much of the explanation for the 7 points as much as
Here we
I
go.
like how you're
In
thinking,
3,
kind of
2,
arrange it.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Mary J. Blige, Family Affair right here on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3. We have Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room today, and we're talking about resilience, how to build resilience for your child.
So, Gerry, there must be some sort of, formula is the wrong way. Building blocks, maybe?
Yep, so there are 7, but before we go into the 7, now we are on air, as Glenn reminded all of us. So I want to say that resilience is independent of the child's intelligence level. Before I go into the 7, okay, so 7. The first one, competence. So there are 7 C's, yeah? Competence, confidence, connection, character, contribution, coping, and control.
Ooh.
I forgot the first one.
Yes. That's why Angel is writing down. You see?
I only managed to get 6. You went too fast, but it's fine.
Oh, competence, confidence,
Confidence,
connection, character, contribution, coping, and control.
Coping is the one I didn't get. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. So there are 7 areas that now parents have to think about and say, how do I build these 7 areas? And it's big words, but not as difficult as we think they are. I mean, competence. So competence in what? So, the child is competent in certain areas, but are we pushing them in an area that does not fit them? So that's where I think I agree with what FD is saying. Some children are more inclined in certain areas and not so inclined academically. So if we put pressure in the wrong places, they will break. But
Agreed.
if we permit them to grow their competency where they can, it's a total different ball game altogether. And I'm getting goosebumps because I remember so many children who really blossom and grow, when we take that foot off the accelerator pedal in the wrong direction.
Yeah, I think
like
this
that,
is where the parents fail. When they try and push their kids in a direction that the kids are not built for.
Because a lot of parents want to live their lives
Yeah.
through their children.
Yeah.
Or-
Do things that they didn't manage to do.
Or the parents have not spent enough time
with the child.
discovering their child.
Yeah, that's true
Yes.
as well.
Yes,
You
correct.
must know your child.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sean?
It's a work on your strengths versus focus on your weaknesses kind of deal, right, Dr. Gerry?
I think it's more exploration. So strength and limitations is one way to look at it. But I think, isn't it exciting if you have a child to figure out who this child really is? I think as
Yes.
a parent, that's the most amazing journey that I've ever set on.
Yes.
I see FD smile. I love
it.
his
I love it
smile.
because it's such a it's so fulfilling, not only for the
Yeah.
parent but for the child, because the child goes, Mom and Dad are interested.
And I love doing what I do.
Yeah.
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 Instead of why do I have to do this thing just because you tell me I told you so? You know, that you have to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Won't the parents be like, you're just a child, you don't know what you like yet. You're still growing, you're still learning.
Yeah, I would be like that.
True.
I will tell the child that.
Yeah, you don't know what you like yet, so now learn everything.
Yeah. Because at the age of 5, the kid might want to be a fireman, right?
No.
Do you know?
You know,
yeah,
so-
absolutely. But the first, correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Gerry, but the first 7 years are the most formative years of a child's life, right?
Yes.
Anything that's taught within that 7 years pretty much follows them for the rest of their lives.
Well, there's exponential growth during that period of time. They are developing at that time, so the parents would expose them to many different things, but it doesn't mean that you are set for life after this 7 years. No
Okay.
way.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you expose the kid to all these things, and for the parents with more resources, they can expose their kids to even more things.
Yes.
Everything,
I feel
yeah.
that's more confusing for the kid, no,
It
actually.
is, yeah.
Okay, when we come back, I'm gonna tell you a little bit about what happened to me,
Okay.
and maybe that can help some parents, and maybe Gerry will agree or disagree.
All right. Meantime, on The Big Show, here's George Michael with Father Figure. Only on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3.
So, Gerry, tell me if this was right or wrong. Yes, we want to expose our children to as much as they can. We want to help them grow academically. We want to help them grow socially, but and we push them. We do. We try to get as much information into them, but we've got to keep our eyes open and watch for the pattern that will form. This will show you where your child is going, where your child is more
Inclined.
Don't forget to look out for that pattern.
Yeah.
Because if that pattern is laziness, then you can correct it. If that pattern is my child is more hands-on than brain, then that's where
You
your
can
child...
correct that as well, yeah.
You don't have to correct it.
But
Yeah, yeah.
Gerry,
It depends
some
on
kids
what the
don't
child-
need to be guided as much as others. I've seen some children, right, who are mature beyond their ages.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
They and their parents are constantly, saying, how blessed they are because their kids are so independent. Their kids know what they want, even from a very young age.
Yeah.
So that's the
yeah.
other C. So that's the fourth C, right? Character. Character. Yeah, so sometimes there are different characters and we need to go with that character and teach different values. But we skipped a couple. So competence, no worries. I mean, it's all interchangeable. It's within the child, right? And then confidence. So when we look at their competency and we help them nurture that, they acquire skills and they become more and more confident in that area. And then they have the confidence to try new things.
Yeah, and not be afraid of like failing or anything like that.
Exactly. So that too, I lump it together because I think it's very important. But we also want the parents to teach values. So that comes down to the character that you were talking about. So some characters are a little bit, need a little bit more boosting. And that's where the parents can come in and encourage them or to teach them different ways to approach, situations.
Are you born with a character or is character built? Or is it a little bit of both?
The personality is you're born with. Yeah, you can build character over time.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because they always say it builds character,
Yeah,
right?
it builds
Like,
character.
It builds character. Go
Everything.
shovel the street.
Yeah,
it builds
you don't
character.
build personality.
Okay.
Yeah.
But your personality is a little bit weaved into your character as well, right? Okay.
Okay.
What other C's do you have, Jerry?
Control.
We'll
Control,
get
yeah,
to
control is
yeah,
one of them.
that is you. That is so you. We'll get to that later. What else
That's
do we
the
have?
last one on
That's
the
the last
list,
one.
by the way.
Connection.
Connection.
So connecting with your children, connecting them with the right people, connecting them, with like-minded people. So the connections is the environment, is that, resources that we help build around them or teach them to reach out to resources.
And connecting with them as well, right?
Of course,
Yeah.
that's the first thing
The
that I
first
said.
thing, right? Yeah, connecting
Yeah.
with them,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes. We have to connect with them. If we simply approach parenting as a job, that's very sad. And I do know some parents that, I give you the basic needs, I make sure that you go to the best school, I pay for everything. And I have adult children coming and say, actually, that's not what I want.
Yeah.
I'm so distant from my parents. I don't know. I mean, I know that they are mom and dad, but nothing else much I know about them.
Yeah.
And I don't think they know about me.
I think a lot of parents forget that they were kids at once as well,
They do, and it's difficult. I have to stand up for the parents because it's difficult these days when we're chasing down the almighty dollar.
Yeah, and they want to provide the best for their children.
Yeah.
That's the thing, you see.
But here's where it backfires if you don't pull back. I sat through a counseling session once where a child turned to her father and said, "You're my father, but you're not my dad."
Yeah.
Wow.
That's really sad
And
to
he
hear.
just completely broke down.
That's
He-
really
He
sad to
never
hear.
realized the damage he had done. He had not realized. And it took years for them to develop a relationship. Yes, absolutely.
But I mean, I feel that chasing the dollar, like Mark said, and putting the kids in the best schools and putting a roof over the head has nothing to do with the connection with the child. I mean, you can be busy.
Yeah.
You can be doing all that. You can be building the perfect life, but that has got nothing to do with how you lose connection with a child, right?
Effort, this is effort.
It's just it's like and that maybe you only have 5 minutes to spend with the kid at the end of the day, or maybe you only have half an hour, but it's what you do with that time. Do you sit on your phone? Or do you watch TV, or do you speak to your child and say tuck them into bed, or have a meal with them? It's what you choose to do with that free time, right?
True. And I'll share, this all happened, so I'll share two stories. Later on, I'll share another part of it. But both of these happened in the pool with my little girl. And it was just a few days ago. And I hate getting into the pool because I hate wearing a swimsuit.
Okay, fair enough.
I feel like pushing you into a pool.
Naughty, very naughty.
Terrible.
And for the longest time, for many years, right, I have gone in the pool. So on that day, I decided, okay, you know, one thing like the children, HBL and everything. So I'll get into the pool with the little girl. But I walked in the pool. So I didn't swim. I just don't like. So I just walked in the pool and played with the kids. And I paced with my little girl. And after a while, I think after half an hour, she turned to me and said, "Mommy, you're the only person that listens to me in the pool." Because brother and father would go down, right? But they would be busy doing laps and doing their own things. And this silly mummy who doesn't like to swim just walks with her, right? And she would do her little stunts. She would tell me little stories. She would, you know, and then it's so hilarious. And she's quite a joker. I would just laugh at her, or I'll just like look at her. And I was just there with her without realizing that I was there with her. And that was what she said, you know, it's so nice because you listen to me. I was like, oh my God, you mean mommy didn't listen to you for the rest of the time?
But it helps, you know, you don't have your phone with you. You don't have any other distractions. You're just with your child, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And she recognized that and she felt it and she verbalized it. And I thought it was such a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
You know,
So it's
something
that you've done right, you know, raising her, raising your son, you know, that perhaps maybe other people
Can learn from.
Can learn.
can learn from because they're not getting it. You see, you said your daughter is a happy child.
Yeah.
Right? She's happy. There are many parents who have brooding kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Like if I had a kid who was you know in a bad mood half the time, I'll say, get out of my sight, lah. You know, go somewhere else.
and this will definitely help with their mood.
Yeah. I mean, the kid needs to make you happy as well. You know, you've done everything. You've raised the kid. You know, why is the kid unhappy all the time?
But that's what Gerry is saying. She connected with her daughter in
Yeah.
the pool. You probably, I don't know, don't get a lot of moments. I don't know how you raise your children, but it sounds like your daughter's a joker. You said she sounds like a happy kid, and she sounds like a verbal child, which is great. She managed to tell you how she felt and how appreciative she was of your time with her.
Yeah.
Yes,
So what
yes.
did you do to connect? I'm one of the C's, right? Because obviously you have a connection with your
Yeah.
kids.
Well, it really is just the time for her, right? Giving her that time. And I have to say it because Glenn says it like I'm so perfect. I'm not.
Because
Nobody
you know,
is, nobody is.
plus
No.
you're busy. You know,
Yeah.
that's the thing. You're busy, but you've still made that connection with your kids. So how did you do it?
Yeah. So at that moment, it was, you know, that understanding that, hey, is it time that I did not give the kid? You know, do they need more
20
time?
seconds.
Yeah. Just listening to her. You know, not just hearing, but listening to each thing and responding.
Okay, I'm going to ask you that question again, Gerry. We're going to go for a traffic break, okay?
Okay.
On your Wi-Fi as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Stand by.
1FM 91.3 traffic.
No sign of any major problems across the expressways. That's good news for you. Outram Road towards Yutong Sen Street, roadworks after 2nd Hospital Avenue. Newton Circus towards the city, roadworks after Newton Circus. Avoid the left lane. Yutong Sen Street still after Park Crescent, roadworks after Newbridge Road. Look out for those few areas off the expressways. Generally, just stay within the speed limit, please. Make sure you've got everyone in the car buckled up. Be safe as you drive today.
Good morning and welcome to The Big Show and TheBigShow.tv. Now, TheBigShow.tv, of course, is our Facebook page, TheBigShow.tv. We have Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room with us, and we're talking about how to make your kids a little bit more resilient. Now, earlier on, we were talking about some parents, perhaps, who may not have made the connection with their kids.
Yes.
And as a result of that, the relationship between, the parents and the kids may be strained so to speak. But I was also pointing out to Gerry that she has a wonderful relationship with her daughter and her son, and all this despite being really, really busy. Now, Gerry comes across to me as a workaholic.
Yeah, to a degree, yes.
But she's managed to connect with her children, and I'm sure your husband is quite busy as well, right? But you guys have a fantastic relationship with your kids, and your kids are happy children. How did you manage to pull that off?
Okay, so I don't know if I spend enough time. You have to ask my children that, but we all try to spend as much time together as possible, recognizing the character. So earlier we spoke about character, right? Yeah. So recognizing the character, permitting them to explore things their way. So I think that was another thing I was very cognizant about. I think in the pool, so if those of you who heard the pool story, right, I was just thinking about it, and one of the other factors to help resilience is to be able to laugh and to laugh at oneself. And that was what my little girl was just doing. It's just to look at herself, be silly, be crazy, to laugh at herself, and to permit me into that space and laugh at her and with her. Yeah, so I think that was really precious.
So does connecting with your child basically boil down to time spent with the child?
Time spent, how you spend your time, how you connect with your child, are we there trying to tell them, don't do this, don't do that? Are we trying to stop certain behaviors rather than permit certain behaviors? So certainly in the pool, I was not doing that. And I didn't consciously realize that I was not doing that. I didn't say, don't dive. I didn't say, don't stop doing that. That would have ruined that whole connection and the moment, with her.
Gerry, I want to ask you a question. I'll answer the question from my point of view later. But it's a question brought up by Matthew when it comes to parenting. He says perhaps what parents need help in is to close the chapter of their own upbringing. Many parents' styles are influenced by how they were parented. Do you find that you're influenced by how you were parented, the way you parent your child?
We all have that as a template, and we start with that template. Then we look at what we want to improve on, what we want to tweak, which are the parts that would benefit us and had benefit us, and then we take it with us. So we don't write it off completely. We should not write it off completely, because whatever that happens in our life is our experiences, and we should keep them. We shouldn't just write them off. Then what does that mean? Our childhood is a sham, We should not dismiss our childhood at all, but instead learn from it, right?
Right, absolutely. We are speaking to Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room. We'll continue this conversation live on thebigshow.tv. Meantime, here's Whitney Houston. I'm Every Woman on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3.
Yeah, so I was asking whether you were influenced by your parenting, or is your parenting influenced by the way you were parented? And you said we shouldn't let go of that. I remember that when I became a parent, the first thing I did was I sat down and I tried to remember how my parents brought me up, and I specifically wanted to pick out what I thought was wrong. To make
spoiling you.
No, yes, absolutely.
Right.
And I wanted to make sure that I didn't fall into those traps. And I had a ridiculously privileged and spoiled childhood, and I didn't want that for my children.
But you had an overall privileged, good childhood with happy memories?
Not always happy.
Yeah, I mean, not everyone.
But I didn't want my specifically the spoiling, the
giving them everything they want.
Too privileged a lifestyle. It wasn't whether I could afford it or not. I just felt it didn't help me. The The privileged lifestyle did not help me.
But you see how tricky this is. You see, he had everything.
Yeah.
Well, I mean everything, as in material
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
You know, but he's still, you know, looking back and going like, okay, I'm
It
not
wasn't.
really happy. You know, people like me who didn't have very much growing up. I wish I had those material things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not blaming my parents for not being rich or anything like that, but I wish I had those things. But you, having had those things, are now saying,
It didn't really count.
Yeah.
But what about, I mean, these are pretty okay, regular kind of upbringings. What about people who were brought up in terrible environments? People who are brought up in abusive environments, how do they then draw on whatever it is they can draw on and bring their children up? No
So if-
happy memories, nothing, you know?
So if we look at your last two C's, you know, there is coping and there is control. So how do we problem solve and deal with our environment? We've learned over the years and our experiences has shaped us. And how, what kind of options are we given? So that's the control bit. Hi, Julian.
Hi, Gerry. Good morning.
that was a question for you, Julian.
Yep. So that's coping and control,
Okay.
problem solving, and options that are given.
So for someone who comes out of a relationship of a childhood that's not so great and then has children of their own, then they just try and pick good stuff up that they've heard of. They try and pick good parenting tips up from friends or family.
They would have resilience if they get to that point already. So they would know certain problem solving skills. They would know how to look for resources. What are the options that they have? It's not one method to live life, but many different methods. I mean, many different ways to get to the destination.
Okay, the spoiled child has a question.
Yes, the spoiled child has a question. Jerry, this
Yes.
is something I did with my kids, and I really want an honest answer from you, whether I was right or wrong. I have always taught my children, if they do not understand a particular instance of parenting, whether it is discipline or giving in to them or whatever it may be, if you don't understand, question me about it. It goes back to the communication. I wanted that kind of communication. So I have disciplined you for something you don't understand it. Ask me so I can explain why you're being disciplined. Or I've given you something and you feel, why the hell did I get that? Ask me. Was I right or wrong to allow my children to question my parenting skill?
FD, you know, after so long that I don't give straight answers, and I'll answer it this way. Your children have turned out fantabulously.
How do you know?
Because they all look after me.
They have.
So you have done the right thing, and I always want to encourage every parent. We do things with the best of intentions. You know, we look for different ways to try different and to try different methods, but it's only because we want the best for our children.
Okay.
So no straight answer, but
Damn.
I think you
Damn.
already got your answer in your in
your
how your
head.
children,
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
children are.
Because we do have a very open
Yeah.
communication.
It's not.
with kids
It's not
and
a
I.
simple thing, you know. I mean, parents are the most extraordinary people. I always say,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I'm not a parent, but I'm
can
still very
imagine.
thankful
Yeah.
to my parents. You know, although they were hardly perfect parents, and I think most parents feel like they want to do the absolute best for their kids, but sometimes, you know, when their kids grow up and you know, they talk about it again, you know, they'll suddenly find out like, oh, maybe I
you
was
didn't
lacking in this
yeah,
area,
yeah.
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
I
You
didn't
do.
know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You,
You
do
know,
feel
so
that
so
sometimes.
things like that.
And it's
so,
a constant learning journey. You
It is.
never
Yeah.
stop learning or discovering things that
you know, if I
could
would
have
ask my
done.
mom, right, you know, she will always go like, you know what, I had no idea how, you know, your brother and yourself were going
Turned
to
out
turn
the
out,
way-
but I prayed every single day. You know, she's very big on prayer. She's like, you know, I prayed for my sons, and I'm so glad that they turned out, you know, fine. You know, so it's not so much
I don't know.
her; it was God.
I think my daughter hates me.
That, you know what, Julian, that only means that she loves you because you cannot hate on its own.
And
That only means
she's
she
too
loves
young for you to draw that conclusion. How old is she?
She's 2.5.
That's why.
She hates you.
Just because she pees on your t-shirt doesn't mean she hates you.
She comes to me and she says things like, I don't want Papa.
Oh.
I don't want Papa to carry. And then she goes to my wife and she says, I want Mama to carry. And it's...
You
and
know
it-
why, right? Because Mama's giving her the sweets. That's why.
You forget you have to have the chocolate in your pocket.
That's the thing. I'm the one buying her jelly beans. I'm the one buying her sweets. And she goes to Mama
Tough
instead
love,
of
tough
me.
love.
So I don't know, man. That's,
You
I
gotta have a
think
closer
it's-
look. How is Mama carrying her? Maybe it's it's the way she's carrying.
You know what? Kids
Carrying
go
her.
through different phases. By next week,
Yeah.
she's going to be like, Daddy, I want you, or I don't want Mama to put me to sleep and stuff like that. They
true.
go through phases.
I
Well,
hope.
children connect with parents differently. Julian, you should go and ask her, okay, you want Mama to carry, what do you want Daddy to do? And she might be able to tell you that.
Yeah, I actually said that. I
And?
actually asked her that in the bedroom. I wanted to put her to bed, and she told me, "Say no, Papa, get out. I want Mama.
What?
I want Mama to pet. I want Mama to pet me." And I just, okay, then I just walked out. I just
Well, maybe not when she's going to bed, like during the day. Like, hey, so what can I do for you? What's up, you know?
You just take out the bed and say, Papa paid for the bed, so you got no bed, you cannot sleep how?
All I can say is things will only get better.
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
Yes.
You know what? I can only pray.
Julian,
There you go.
Julian, she's 2.5. Wait till she gets to 13.5.
I'll give you my mom's number. You text her. You know? How did she pray? How long did she pray?
What did she pray? Who did she pray to?
Send you a rosary.
I'm gonna let Julian take the floor. I actually got 3 pages. I only completed 1 page. Can you imagine?
This is what happens when you talk to us.
Wow. we can continue this next
Next
week.
week, we
yeah.
can do part 2.
Yeah, it's quite interesting.
For sure.
Sure. And for resilience, I've got a quote from Rumi, a poet, you know, and I think it capitalizes or encapsulates rather what resilience is. The wound is the place where the light enters you. The wound is the place where the light enters you.
I love
It puts
Rumi.
things in a different perspective.
Right. So you
Bring
got to go through
positive
pain.
in.
It's painful.
No. Bring
but,
positivity in as well
yeah, lah,
through
correct.
your
It's-
pain. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna leave all of you and we can discuss more parenting and more resilience next week.
We will.
So cute, your fringe today. At certain points you look like Supergirl.
It's getting in my eye.
You still look beautiful, don't worry. All right, have a wonderful day, Gerry. We'll see you next week.
Too.
Have a good day off
Okay.
tomorrow. Bye.
Ciao, Jerry.
Hey, happy in advance.
Happy
you.
birthday. Yeah.
His birthday is tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, we've got Julian Kho with us. He is the editor of sgCarMart. Before we go back on the Big Show TV, we are on the Big Show TV. We are also live right now. We're going back
Yeah,
live
traffic.
now.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
1.3 traffic.
Well, there's not a whole lot to tell you about. A lot of people are working from home, so you're not going to see too many delays across the expressways. Outram Road towards Yutong Sen Street, we've got roadworks after 2nd Hospital Avenue. That will slow you down a wee bit. The TPE towards the PIE, a vehicle broken down after Pasir Ris Drive 8 exit. Stay within the speed limit. Have everyone buckled up. Be safe as you drive today.
Good morning. We just kicked Gerry out.
We did.
No, Gerry signed out while we were on thebigshow.tv. Thank you very much once again to Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room. We're joined right now by the editor of sgCarMart, Julian Kho. Good morning,
Morning.
Julian.
Morning,
Good
Julian.
morning.
guys.
Okay, so today we're going to be talking about
Tunnel safety.
Tunnels.
tunnel safety.
syndrome.
That's very,
It's
very important,
Very
It is.
important.
because most people are speeding through the tunnels.
I know.
And I think that's one of the things that people shouldn't do. Okay, but go ahead, Julian. Tell us exactly what direction we're heading, into with regard to this topic for today?
It's a lot about safety. It's a lot about what you need to do if your car breaks down in the tunnel or if you ever get into an accident in the tunnel, which you rarely see, but it still happens. And on that note of speeding, yes, it's a no-no, but people still do it, especially in the KPE. And I mean, you guys know, right? I mean, there are fixed cameras throughout all the Cape. And if you have to travel there every single day to and from work, you will know where the cameras are.
Yes.
The cameras on KP are brightly pasted with orange silvery stickers, right? Yeah, I think in the past it was different. In the past it was more shady. You didn't really know it was there. And then recently, of late, several years ago, they started using different colored stickers just to let people know that the cameras are there.
I think that works better, you know. That really does work better.
I think it works better, but because you know where the speed cameras are, you tend to want to speed when you are not, you know,
where the
approaching
cameras are
the
not.
camera. Yeah, when they're not there, right? So I have to say I'm one of them. I tend to be one of them because I'm always in a rush from the office to Linky. You know, when I have meetings or I have to collect cars from Linky or Alexandra Road, I have to go via KPE, MCE, and over the years, I sort of already know where the cameras are. It's like a trick. It's like you're playing Super Mario and you know where the warps are, right? You know where the tricks are. Yeah, it sort of feels that way. But of course, from time to time, when I'm not in a rush, I'll just stick to 80 kilometers per hour. That's the current speed limit on KPE, but there are some roads on KPE and MCE that are just I think it's a maximum of 70 kilometers per hour. I think there are some stretches that are 70. Yeah, so you have to just keep a lookout. Yes, you can go like, if it's 80 kilometers per hour road, I've tried before, you can go like 88, 89 kilometers per hour. I think it has never happened to me. Yeah, you know, it's not happened to me. But I know of certain people who came to me and said, you know what, I was traveling at 91. And they caught me. They sent me a speeding letter. I was just above a kilometer and they fined me. And I said, no, you were above 11 kilometers per hour.
Oh, because they didn't know the speed limit.
Limit's 80.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So speed limit is 80 kilometers per hour. So you have to take note of that. That is just I think that's just one of the biggest problems, speeding in tunnels.
Right. You know that CTE stretch towards town?
Yes.
That is 90 kilometers an hour. You know, that's such a joke. You know why? Because no one goes at 90 kilometers an hour on that part of the CTE. Most of the time, you know, I feel like people are traveling at 75, 80, and I'm wondering like what's going on, you know, and it's always like jammed up. And when I get through you know, the jam and all that, I realize that there's no accident, nothing, no road works. It's just that people tend to slow down at the various exits, I think.
Well, not only that, I think people really don't know what the speed limit is in the tunnel, so they're just being safe. I'm traveling at 75.
This is not in the tunnel. This is CTE. It's out, you know,
in the
above.
open.
Yeah, in the
Well,
open.
you
In
should
the open.
know your speed limits. That's weird.
Okay, anyway, we're talking to Julian Kho, editor of sgCarMart. Let's play your track from the script right now. Here's Superheroes on The Big Show, 1FM 91.3. Good morning.
And we're back.
This is why I feel like there's so much to talk about.
No, but you know, Julian, the other thing that and I've always had this question. Like, we know when we're on an expressway, if something happens to the car, we pull it over, we get out of the car, we move away from the road. But you're in a tunnel. If your car breaks down, you got nowhere to move away from the road. You know what I mean? You pull into that little by lane.
Yep.
But if you're standing outside your car, that's damn dangerous.
It is very, very dangerous. I've actually seen a video of a motorcyclist getting knocked twice by two different cars.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was the first one was slightly harder. The second one was more like a bump. That was a bit of a problem because I think the funny thing about in the tunnel is it's obviously more dangerous. I think the lighting isn't as good, or people are just dreaming a little bit more in the tunnel. You have to, if your car breaks down, please try and tell people that. You know what's the triangle thing that you have to set behind? Yeah. Put that and on top of that, put on your hazard lights. You have to make sure that it's all, as much as possible, light up your car. So hazard lights will probably help. And of course, if possible, stop your vehicle only on the road shoulder.
But don't we have like heroes who will come and pick you up? I think they are aware.
Yeah, no, my question...
Imas,
Yes.
sorry.
My
Aware.
question is, yes, I've had this breakdown. I've got my barrier, my triangle out. I've got my hazard lights on. I should be waiting in the car, correct?
Yeah,
Not
you should
out
be
of
waiting
the
in the car. Do not wait out of the car. Don't ever.
But if you
wait,
wait,
out of the
at
car.
least wait like on the passenger side, not on the driver's side, right? I mean, if you
Actually-
do.
Actually, it's okay because in tunnels you'll actually have something of a parapet at
Yeah,
the road
yeah,
shoulder.
Yeah, you can
Okay.
come out and get up there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. So that raised platform on the road shoulder, wait there. If you feel like your life is in danger because of the amount of traffic, heavy traffic and all that kind of stuff, there are two ways you can do. The first one, you can SOS LTA. There will always be a phone booth that can connect you to LTA straight. I think it's every 500 meters or was it 100 meters? But just keep walking straight. You'll definitely be able to find a phone booth that will connect you straight to LTA. That's the first option that you can do. The second option is just get out of the tunnel. There are several exits in the tunnel. KPE has it in, I think it was a blue color, was it greenish color? Just I think on the first lane, if I'm not on the right side, there's one. On the left side, nearest to the exits, there will also be a door that leads you out of the tunnel.
Right, okay.
I believe CTE will also have it, but it's of a different color. I think that's what they call it, right? Pedestrian cross passenger door or something like that.
Okay.
PCPD, yeah. So you'll have that. These exits can be found in all the different tunnels. Get out of there if you need to. If not, call LTA. The number is 1-800-CALL-LTA, which will be 1-800-2255-582.
Yeah, speaking of calling LTA, you mentioned that there are phone booths every 500 meters in the tunnel, right? Are there also
Yes.
phone booths on the expressways?
I've never
It's a
seen
very
it.
good question because
I'm wondering why they are in the tunnel and not on the expressways. Because I don't
Because
think I've
tunnel, you
seen
got
them.
no reception sometimes.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
They used
got
to have
no
along the expressways, but not anymore.
Oh, right. Okay.
You know, I've always been curious about those doors.
You wanna
know,
see
in
where
the
they
tunnel.
go?
Yeah. It's like, do they lead to a different world?
Yes, of course they
You're
do.
watching too much daylight.
You've been watching Narnia, dude.
This reminds me of the show Daylight. You
Yeah,
know?
Daylight.
Yes, Sylvester Stallone, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But from what I know, the left side leads you out. That means the slowest lane, the
Yeah.
exits leads you out of the tunnel. On the extreme right side, which is the fastest lane,
Yeah.
there will also be exits that leads you to the other side of the tunnel.
Yeah.
I think a lot of
Yeah.
people need to realize the lane numbering as well, because we
Yeah.
read from left to right, right? A lot of people
Yep.
sometimes think that lane 1 is on the left when lane
That's
1
right.
is on the right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it goes
Yeah.
from the right to the left, right? So when you do traffic and stuff like
Yeah.
that, some
It's
people
always
think
right
it's
to
always
left,
from
yeah.
right to left. Yeah. So what other do's and don'ts can you tell us about, Julian, for being in the tunnel?
Well, don't ever. Okay, so there are several things. I mean, imagine if something goes wrong with your car and you have to get out of your car. You can't stay inside your car for some reason in order to be safe, right? You have to be out of your car. Stand away from the vehicle. I mean, don't stand too close to a vehicle because it's a very simple thing. If a car knocks your vehicle and it just for some reason rebounds off the wall, and there's a possibility that you'll get injured as well.
Yeah.
So stay just slightly away from the vehicle. That will always be good. And like I said, try and find and stay on the parapet or a raised platform so that at least people can see you. I mean, if you're a driver like me, pine size, the car would cover me, really. I mean, you won't be able to see me. Whether I stand in front or behind the car, no one can actually see me. So you got to find a raised platform.
Pint-sized.
It's just better. It's just better that way. And of course, there are always several traffic lights. You see like traffic lights on top. It's always either green. I don't think it's red, but it's always like a cross sign.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
that it's
yes.
closed,
Yeah.
right?
It will be red, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stay away from the lanes where you see it's a cross.
Yeah.
It just means that the road is either in used or there's an accident in front. make sure you stay away from that lane. Use other lanes. I mean, KP is like, 5 or 6 lanes, right? I mean, so you have
It's massive.
ample lanes to play around with. So just stay away from those lanes. And also, I know this sounds a bit of a joke, but in actual rules, you should not be overtaking in the tunnel if it's unnecessary.
Oh, right. I didn't know that.
For safety reasons, you should not be overtaking. But obviously, I think a lot of people don't really bother about that. But that's something to look out for.
And what about this sign that we always see before heading into a tunnel? Tune into a local radio station. And that's not just for Singapore. That's for all over the world. You see it.
Yes. I think it's because... Okay, here's the funny thing. My reception for my car isn't as good when I enter KP and MCE for some reason, but CT is perfectly fine. For some reason, KP and MCE, I can still hear it. Obviously, it's perfectly fine. You tune into your local radio station, like 1FM, for instance, because you get to hear all about traffic news. That's always important. If there's a breaking news or if it's an emergency, radio stations will actually announce it. Yes. So tune into your local radio station. That is always very important. And of course, turn on your headlamps if you're in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, if your car comes with automatic option, just leave it in the auto.
Yeah.
Don't switch it off.
Yeah.
Just leave it in auto.
That's the easiest, yeah.
But if you're driving a car like mine where it's old, you just have to muscle memory.
Okay,
right?
hold on, okay? Kenny Loggins, Danger Zone, right here on The Big Show. How appropriate. We're
Right?
talking about getting stuck in a tunnel. That would be considered a danger zone.
It
all
would,
right?
it would.
Okay, if you don't have to
Absolutely.
come out of your car, just stay in your car. Make sure your hazards are on. I'm always a little nervous when people come out of their cars in the tunnel.
Oh, my goodness. You've seen people do that?
I have.
Oh,
I
wow.
have. And they're struggling to put that triangle.
Yeah.
Like, how many meters
back.
How many
Supposed to be
meters
20.
back? I forget now.
I can't remember. We were discussing about this
I think
several
it's
weeks.
20.
Yeah.
20. 20 is quite a lot.
And I personally feel that if you leave your hazards on, right, then especially if you're in the tunnel, forget about the triangle. Just leave the hazards on.
Because
And
it's
then
dangerous trying to get that
dangerous,
triangle there,
Just
right?
moving
Yeah.
around in the tunnel is dangerous, right? And
Yeah.
what I would do is, as much as I sayang my car a lot, right? In a situation like that, I would just come out of the car, maybe just lock the car and just abandon the car. Just try to get out of
Go
the
through
way
that
as much
magic
as
door.
possible.
Go through
You
the
go
magic
through the
door.
magic
Yeah,
door.
what I would do
Just
is
call for assistance.
Yeah, I would pull to the left lane, put my hazard lights on, make sure everything's okay. Get one of the passengers to take the triangle, move 20 meters.
That's terrible. That's terrible. But Julian, we were talking today about things not to do in a tunnel. Don't overtake tailgate. Don't stop unless it's an absolute emergency. Do not reverse
Yeah.
your vehicle in a tunnel.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
Don't drop anyone off in the
Yes.
tunnel.
Don't attempt to repair your car, because I've actually seen someone, although it was in the middle of the night and wee hours in the morning, I think something must have happened to his tire. Punctured. He actually came out and attempted to change tires himself
my
in the
gosh.
tunnel. Yes, it was at a road shoulder, but still,
Yeah.
No,
it's a risk that's not worth taking.
No.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
many
I agree.
people are
agree.
quite brave, in that sense. They don't think somehow maybe because they have other things in their lives, right? So something like this, they feel like they can fix it on their own.
Yeah.
Not like us.
Probably.
The moment something like this happens, right? Whoa, the first thing we think of is getting hit by another car. you
Yeah.
know?
I-
So, let's just get out of here.
I think there's a difference between bravery and stupidity. So don't try and fix your car in a tunnel on your own, especially. I think that's awful.
Yeah, call for help. Call for help.
Yeah.
I mean, like we talked about, there are phone booths that will connect you straight to LTAs every 500 meters in the tunnel. Just pick up the phone, or if not, if there's reception on your cell, just pick up and call 1-800. Call LTA. That would just solve all your problems.
Yeah. And don't forget, some of us have the emergency button in the car.
In the cars, yeah.
But some people don't know, Some people have that, but they don't know.
They're like, what's this for?
Yeah.
It's the missile button, right?
Yeah,
That
missile
missile
button.
Yeah.
Seat ejector.
ejection
Seat
button.
ejector.
So Julian, when we come back, I have a question from our
No,
Facebook
no
page.
more
Oh,
coming
we
back.
can't. Oh.
9
It's okay,
o'clock.
It's okay. We'll talk
It's
about
alright.
it on thebigshow.tv.
Yeah, we'll talk about
Okay,
it on
all
TV.
right.
Yeah.
But we say bye to everybody else who's listening on radio.
All right. Okay. Up next, we've got headline news and sports. Thank you very much, Julian, for joining us today. Okay.
No problem.
We'll continue talking on thebigshow.tv.
Yeah.
So please
Okay.
stay tuned.
All
All right. Headline news and sports up next on 1FM.
This is an important announcement.
Okay,
So,
your
Julian,
question.
this is a question on our Facebook page, so it's good that you answer it on Facebook.
Okay.
Something happens to my car as I approach an exit. Do I, because you can't use the road shoulder on an exit, obviously,
That's right. Yep.
do I put the car in the chevron?
Yes,
Oh.
yes, you do. Put your car in the chevron. That little triangle
That
thing.
little triangle
right?
thing, yeah.
Yes. Put it there. Don't
And then you
because
got to cross over some more.
I didn't know.
yes, you put it on the chevron. That is actually not the safest place. If you have absolutely nothing going on, do not stop there because you need to make a phone call. Don't do anything foolish like this because it's actually quite dangerous. But that chevron is used for instances like this. If you ever need to not block the exit because there's a problem with your car, stop at the chevron.
Okay.
Okay, we have a WhatsApp that came in from Jason, and he said, talking about the speeding, he said the old cameras, like the ones in the tunnels, have a plus 10 kilometers on them. So a,
Really?
a leeway off. That's what he says. I don't know how accurate it is. And he
Yeah.
says the new ones have no plus 10 kilometers for the speed. So I don't know. I don't know which one is accurate.
Just don't
Yeah,
speed.
'cause-
Lah.
That's-
But actually-
just
Yeah.
don't
Just don't
speed,
speed.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you
Don't
know,
speed, yeah.
I just wanna say thank you to the authorities these days because I think a lot of people think they have no mercy.
Yeah.
They are just out there to find people
I don't
and all
think
that.
so.
I have experienced this on a few occasions, right, where I've been given a warning.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm very, very thankful for that. I don't know
Yep.
whether maybe it's because it's hard times and so
Yeah.
they're giving us a break. But remember we went for lunch once, Angel, together with Sean and with Anjali, and I got fined
Yeah,
for
because you forgot to switch on your parking app.
my parking app, right? I keyed everything
put
in.
everything.
I forgot to hit start parking. So when I came back, I saw that the chit there,
And?
and I was gonna pay for my fine, and I couldn't pay for it. Right? It said my number's not registered, and then I realized I looked on the top. It was a warning. They didn't find me.
Oh, they didn't.
Yeah, they didn't find me at all. So
Okay,
I thought it was
Sometimes-
really, really nice.
That's
really
really
nice of them.
Lovely.
That's nice.
That's
yeah.
brilliant. Because when at the start when KPE was first constructed and it was 70 kilometers per hour, fines were issued by the hundreds.
Right.
It was very, very sensitive. The moment you hit like 73, 74, it'll start shooting you. So they were really very strict on making sure that no one speeds in the tunnel.
Yeah.
I think over several years they started becoming a little bit more lax. I think a lot of people started writing in, and that's the thing, right? At least they are listening to what people have got to say. They aren't that rigid about
Yes.
speeding and all that kinds of stuff in the tunnel.
I
Yeah.
think people need to also realize that speed limits are there for a reason. I mean,
Yes.
if you're going to be late for something, try and plan your route.
Yep.
Yeah.
Try and
Yep.
leave earlier or something so you don't have to speed because they are there for a reason.
Yeah. And there's a point here at the Brattle flyover as well. I don't know where the camera is,
Oh, that one's
but
sensitive.
I got a warning for that as well because that is a 70-kilometer zone.
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
I was going slightly above, not majorly.
No, I
fast.
actually got a speeding ticket from there. I think probably about a year and a half ago, I actually had a
Right.
speeding ticket there because I actually returned a car on Sunday night,
Okay.
and I collected my car. So I decided to go out for a spin in my car, and I went by Brattle Flyover, and I got was it 150 or 120 bucks?
Oh boy.
And I think it was 6 points.
6 points.
Wow.
6 points.
What's the
So
point?
speeding is 6 points.
This is just in front of the SBH building, right? I think that
That's
overhead
right.
bridge.
And-
Flyover, right?
That's right.
Velvet
That's
bridge.
right.
Man's
You know,
face
because
there looking at you.
most people don't take note of that overhead bridge because they think it's the one at Lonnie. Because you usually see, just
Yep.
in front of McRitchie
Yeah,
Reservoir,
yeah.
Yep,
usually there's
see a
there's
guy
a cop
there.
on top. You know,
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But this
right
bridge
there.
here,
Yeah.
there are a lot of times that they have guys up there.
Yep,
So my
that's
wife has
right.
been fined on many occasions because she's rushing to Buena Vista, right? And,
Leave earlier.
and she gets exactly.
Wake up earlier.
They
you know.
wake up earlier, leave
So
earlier.
I once again I thought I was fined, but they gave me a warning
Lucky you.
because they said I've got a good record or whatever.
You
so,
seem to
know.
get quite a few of these letters.
I know,
huh?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm very
wonder
thankful.
why.
Very thankful.
I never get these sorts of warning letters. I just
You're
get
not celebrating
fined.
Fine, right?
Different.
I think they see Glenn's license plate.
That's
They're like,
why.
oh, okay. We know this guy. He's on
Celebrity-
radio. Yeah, we
celebrity
don't want to
different,
find him.
He was a speedster once upon a time, but
Looks like
these
he's learnt
days
his lesson, yeah.
he's all right.
But there's this one thing that we all have to learn. If you ever get fined for speeding and traffic light if you beat traffic light offenses as well as speeding, you can forget about appealing unless it's a life and death situation.
Yeah,
they will never ever waive off or agree to your appeal, never ever, because it's something that they're very firm on. The authorities are very firm on beating red lights, as well as speeding, because you have absolutely no excuse to do that unless it's a life and death situation.
And because we've seen deaths.
Deaths
we've
at
seen
traffic
deaths
lights.
at junctions.
Exactly.
The thing is with traffic lights, they're so irritating though, because like I know you slow down, and then sometimes when you get there, it turns orange, but you're like already across, and then you get fined. 'Cause I've been fined by a red light camera before.
No, but if you go ahead, I mean, on amber, it should be okay,
right? On
Should be
amber,
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
It should be
It's just
alright.
the red when you go
Because it didn't
across.
slow down enough, lah.
Fast enough, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I have a very bad habit, because to me is I don't like waiting for traffic lights. So when I approach a traffic light, I tend to speed up. Yeah, and by the time I'm approaching it, it turns amber and I have to jam brake. And when you do something like that,
It's dangerous.
it's actually dangerous, because not only I have to check my rear view mirror for any cars behind me, because he might be speeding up as well, right?
Yeah.
If I jam brake, he might come straight for me. I have to look out for if there are any pedestrians crossing earlier than expected. So I'm trying to sort of curb that. So I suppose the fines are in place for that, because I actually once got fined for beating the red light because of this. I actually went past it thinking that I could beat it and stuff, but I did not. I didn't make it in time, and I caught it. It was 12 points and 200 bucks.
I think a good note for pedestrians as well is don't cross early.
Yeah.
You know, and before you cross, like your parents have always taught you, look left and right first before crossing, just in case. You know what I mean? And I always make sure that the cars stop. You know, because sometimes you see them coming from far, they may not be paying attention, or they may see another light thinking it's green. So I always make sure they slow down.
Always look out before crossing.
Yeah.
Always look up and look out.
Yes, look up from your phones.
Too many people don't bother even looking these days.
Oh my goodness!
Especially zebra crossings. I mean, you cannot think that just because you have the right of way, the cars will stop.
Hardly ever do cars stop.
Yeah, so you have to make sure the cars come to a complete stop. Stop looking at your cell phones and then just cross the road. And don't take your time crossing it. Just walk across as soon as you can.
It's not a stroll, right?
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
some places in the Orchard area, you think it's a zebra crossing. It's not a zebra crossing.
Like cars going into certain car parks, right? You have all these people just crossing the road. These are people that don't drive. I believe that people that do that are people that don't drive. They just stroll across and take their time.
Must be patient, lah. Your
No?
drivers, all these drivers are impatient. One.
Okay,
Not
we got to
true.
let Julian go. Julian, so what's happening on sgCarMart?
Well, same old. We're still focusing on videos, but you know what? We've got something new on sgCarMart.com itself. We are now writing more commentaries and opinion pieces. For example, today I just wrote an article about should you dismiss China-made cars? Obviously, my argument is no, you should not. I mean, you have all the proof in the world right now that their growth are massive. China cars' growth are massive. You've got advancement in technology, and they look good too, by the way. They look good. They're solidly built. They are premium inside. So you've got a lot of reasons to prove that no, you should not be dismissing China-made cars. But anyway, long story short, yes, we're writing new stuff, more commentaries, more opinion stories. Keep a lookout for that. But even then, on the YouTube channel, it's still the same. We still have Will It Tapao, and you still have the usual car reviews. So we're working hard to pump out quality content for our readers and viewers. So please continue supporting us, and of course, keep the feedback coming so that we can improve.
All right.
Fantastic.
I like that about the China cars and all that, because I was just thinking about it the other day. Some German cars are being made in China right
yes,
now.
absolutely.
You
Don't
know?
shoot them
and
down.
I was thinking, like, man, if my German car is made in China, I'm not going to pay that amount of money for it. That's for sure. But anyway, that's a
We're
topic
paying
for another day.
Inspired in Germany, made in China.
Thank you, Julian, for joining us.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Thanks,
for having
Julian.
me.
Have a good
Always
holiday
a blast.
tomorrow.
Thank you.
You too. Stay safe, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.
All right. Oh, wow. I enjoyed myself
one.
today.
Good one.
That was very good.
Thank you very much, Gerry. Thank you very much, Julian. Please share the video.